Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord updates. And in this video, I want to show you something very interesting. I want to show you something on the monthly chart, and it's something that I just noticed a couple of days ago. Well, actually, I think yesterday, and I already talked about this. And basically, what we did right here on the monthly RSI, as you can see, we found support at the moving average of the monthly RSI, and I think this move that we have right now, this, move to the upside and then the move to the downside looks very similar to what we had here. Now, I know like 7 months ago, I was comparing this move right here to the move right here just because we went above the trend line, well, not the trend line, the moving average on the RSI, and I thought that at this point of the cycle, we were, up here, but it turns out that was wrong. It turns out this move right here could actually be this move, and what happened before that could actually be this move right here, and let me explain why. Now, of course, from the 4-year cycle point of view, I mean, 4 years ago, we were exactly up here somewhere, and right now we are down here. However, I still think that Cardano is able to get to all-time highs and will be able to get to all-time highs by the end of this year. And actually, if it gets like, let's say $5 by the end of May, I would not be shocked. So let me show you what I found on the chart, and let me show you why I think that Cardano will start going up a lot in March, and people will, be caught by surprise by this because they will not be expecting it, but I am expecting it, and I'm actually expecting Cardano to go up a lot in March. Now, I don't know if it will happen this week or next week or in the last week of March, but I think it will happen because you have to keep in mind, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to drop by the end of March. And I hope you remember why I said that in my previous couple of videos. We always dropped at the end of March or at the end of February on the Bitcoin dominance chart. And it turns out we will most likely drop at the end of March because, I mean, we have not dropped and it's, it's March already. So it has not started, which means that we will most likely go sideways until the end of March. And then we drop like we did in the previous cycle. I mean, you already know that. I don't have to repeat that. And if that happens and when that happens, I think Cardano will get this move right here because, like I said, I think we are actually up here, and this makes sense because we had a cross on the bull market support band, and the move that we had right here looks very similar to the move that we have right now. And from the structure point of view, we are actually up here and, not up here. So things are looking very, very good, and let me explain why I think this is bullish. So here we had 3 weeks to the downside, 3 monthly weeks to the downside, and then the fourth one, as you can see, went above the first wave high right here. If we repeat this pattern, and so far we have, I mean, the 1-2 setup here is the exact same 1-2 setup as this right here. If we do this, then we might actually, be above the highs right here by the end of March, which means that Cardano might be above $1.30 by the end of March. If Bitcoin dominance actually drops by then, and if we continue repeating this pattern, like I said, so far it has been the exact same thing as the last cycle, and if that's the case, then like I said, we should be above $1.30 by the end of March. Even the RSI, like I said, looks the exact same. Here, as you can see, we found support at the moving average of the monthly, RSI, and then here we did the exact same thing. We did not close up below it, which is actually very bullish, and before this, as you can see, we were actually below it, just like we were down here. So is this a coincidence? Well, maybe it is, but maybe it's not, and maybe we are expecting some kind of pump extremely soon, which could put Cardano above $1.30, and if that happens, that would also put us above the 0.618 resistance level right here. We got rejected here many times. I think we got rejected like 5 times already. Each time we touched it, we got rejected, and yeah, we got a second wave move down right here, and I'm expecting the third wave of the third wave to start extremely soon, and by extremely soon, I mean by the end of the month. And if that does not happen, of course, that's going to be bearish, but I think it's gonna happen, and I think it's gonna happen, very soon, like I said. And from a structure point of view, we are down here, which means that we could continue going sideways for a couple of weeks, which I know could be boring, but if we do what we did here, then we should, be in between the bull market support band at least, and then get above it by the end of March, and maybe get some kind of correction after that, a short correction, and then we go up, and that would actually make sense because you cannot expect Bitcoin dominance to drop all of a sudden. Of course, there's going to be resistance to the downside. You cannot expect Bitcoin dominance to go down like this. It's probably going to start doing something like this, then it's going to go up, then another down, and then we go up again, and then you know what I mean. So we cannot expect a move like this. Of course, it could happen, but maybe it's not going to happen. But you also have to keep in mind that in this cycle, Bitcoin dominance only went up. It never really went down. So, I mean, there is a chance that it just goes down like this. And if that happens, of course, Cardano and the other altcoins will finally wake up and they will finally get the move that they've been waiting for quite some time now. So, I mean, it's the exact same move. Like I said, even the weekly RSI is the same. Here we have a U structure, here we have a U structure, and look at what happened after that. So I think we are in a very good, position right now. And of course, if we do not bounce in the next couple of weeks, that's okay. But if we do, I mean, Cardano should be above $1.30 by the end of March. And if it is above $1.30 by the end of March, and if we get above the 0.618 resistance level, I mean, it could be at all-time highs by the end of April. And I'm not even kidding. I think that's actually very possible. And what you know, from this cycle to this cycle, from the top to the top, it took about 1,337 days. And from this top right here to the next top, if we want to top exactly 1,337 days after this top, we would have to top at the end of April. Is that a coincidence? Well, maybe it is, but then again, maybe it's not. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months and actually in the next 2 months. And if we get a top in April and if we get like $4 to $5 by the end of April, that's actually going to be very good. And always remember to take profits because you never know if we do get, a 4 and a 5 after that. Maybe we get the fourth wave move down and then the fifth wave never manages to get above the third wave high, which means that this will no longer be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup and it will be a 3-wave move, which would not be bullish. But you have to keep in mind in the previous couple of cycles, there were some altcoins. For example, Chainlink right here, it only had a 3-wave move to the upside and then we went down and everybody thought that we would get all-time highs by the end of the year again, but we did not. We put in a lower high and yeah, that was the beginning of the bear market for VeChain. I think I said Chainlink accidentally. And yeah, I think the same thing will happen with some other altcoins, which means that you will most likely have to take some profits here. Of course, that's not financial advice, but if we do get to like $4 to $5, maybe even like $3, I mean, taking profits will never hurt you because, I mean, if you bought down here, I mean, I'm pretty sure you would be pretty happy with a 10x or maybe even more than that. If you are not, then, you are pretty much greedy. But if you are happy with a 10x, then maybe take some profits here. I also want to look at the Bitcoin chart because Bitcoin is also doing something interesting. Actually, before I do that, let me show you what happens, in the short term. So basically, we reacted to the 0.618 support level and we'll see if we get a 5-wave move to the upside. If we do, that will complete a third wave. The minimum target for the third wave right here is at $1.06. We'll see if we get there or not. And if we get this move, we should get, above the bull market support band or at least in between the bull market support band before we actually get that bounce that I've been expecting for some time now. And we could always get another low. Of course, that could always happen if Bitcoin drops again. But I mean, speaking of Bitcoin, I don't think it's going to drop again. Of course, that's just my opinion and maybe I'm going to be wrong about this, but Bitcoin got above the 200-day moving average and we are, we are still below the bull market support band, yes, but I think we will break back above it very, very soon. And when and if we do, I think Bitcoin will get to all-time highs after that. Keep in mind, we are in a post-halving year, which means that Bitcoin will most likely get to all-time highs again. And this move right here was just, to scare off the people who, have weak hands, basically. And as you can see, the daily RSI, it got to the oversold territory. And this is extremely bullish because the last time we got to the oversold territory on the daily RSI was down here in August of 2024 when Bitcoin was at like $50,000, maybe like $49,000. And as you can see, after that, we got a bounce. We tested the bull market support band. We got rejected. We went down again. And then we tested it again. And then we got back above it. And then we had a cross on the bull market support band. And this could happen again. We could always get a bounce to the bull market support band, maybe to like $90,000, then get rejected, maybe put in a lower low or, maybe some kind of higher low. And then we go up again and we get above the bull market support band. We get a cross on the bull market support band and, then we go up. And if we do this right now, that's going to take some weeks. And what do you know, I am expecting the market to go sideways for a couple of weeks. So, I mean, this would make sense. And I'm actually very bullish on Bitcoin and Cardano right now because they got to the oversold territory on the daily daily chart. Also, I want to look at the weekly chart because Bitcoin did something very interesting here as well. If you look at the weekly chart, of course, I mean, the RSI is not as low as it was a couple of days ago, but a couple of days ago, the weekly RSI got exactly at these levels right here, where previously in the past we found support. So the fact that we bounced right here is actually very bullish, and the low could be in, which means that right now the market is preparing for a reversal. But like I said, this could take a couple of weeks, maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 3 or 4 weeks. But I'm expecting this to start by the end of March, and if that does not happen, then we could, just start it at the beginning of April, but not later than that, because I said this many times, the altcoins need to get an altcoin season by the end of May, because if they do not, I mean, as you know from my previous videos, I mean, Bitcoin always drops in the summer of the post-halving year. It dropped here, it dropped here, and it dropped here. It dropped in pretty much every single cycle so far, which means that we will get a Bitcoin drop in June and July, and then we will go up again. And when that happens, the altcoins will take a major hit, which means that the altcoins need to get to, at least near all-time highs by the end of May, because in the summer we will most likely go down, and then some altcoins will get another high. Like I said, some will not. So you have to be prepared for that, and like I said, if we do not go up by the end of May, and if we are not at all-time highs by the end of May, it's not going to be good. However, I am expecting that to happen, so of course that's just my opinion, but so far my opinion has been pretty good, and we'll see if that continues. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.